Hey everybody, it's Friday. You know what Friday means? 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time means it's Friday question of the week. Now, if you've ever come to see my Friday question of the week, you know I normally talk about Algebra 1 or Algebra 2 or geometry or pre-calculus because that's what I tutor. By the way, if you're looking for those things and you need a tutor, message me. I still have some slots open for you, but I'm not talking about that today. Today, I'm going to be talking about moi, me, myself, and I. And that's why I put in the banner, me edition. Yeah, aren't I clever, though? I'm going to see if this is going live because it doesn't look like it is, even though it said it did. We're having trouble with Facebook. I think Facebook, you are now joining me live. Let's see if I'm live. I'm trying to look on my page too. So hold on a minute, guys. I am going to talk about me, myself, and I, but okay, I am live now. All right, so let me start again. Hey, everybody. Normally, I tutor on Fridays, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have a Friday question of the week. Well, I still am having a Friday question of the week. But instead of talking about algebra or geometry or pre-calculus or trigonometry, I'm talking about this person right here, this dork of all dorks, me. I'm Terry Grigsby. I should put that on there for you. I am the owner of Tag Tutoring, thus the name of this Facebook page. And if you're on YouTube, hi everybody on YouTube. Over there, I'm just Terry Grigsby. Call me crazy. It's my name. If you are joining me live and you have a question or a comment, I'm going to put in here to tell me where you live, and something about yourself. How about that? I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think of that? Okay. And we already have a visitor, my friend and fellow math tutor. I'll put him up here and show you. Robert's here from Maine. We love Maine, don't we? But it sounds cold there right now. I don't know how much snow you have or how cold it is. But Oregon here, where I live in Portland, just had an ice and snow event that we got like 4 inches of snow. But it was ice first and ice last, so it was a big, huge mess over here. But if you're looking for math tutoring, Robert also does it. He's really, really, really great if you're looking for calculus help. He's your man. I have taught calculus many times, but I haven't taught it in quite a few years. So I'm not tutoring calculus at this point, just through pre-calculus. So look up Robert in Maine. He does his tutoring online also. And give him a shout out. And you can see there, it's Main Street Math Tutoring, so you can find him. On YouTube would be looks like that's on YouTube. I love his logo too. So let's get back to what we're doing here today. Keep asking questions if you have any as you pop in. We're back to Friday question of the week. It's me edition. So what I want to do today is just talk a little bit about myself because I realize this is my 4th year tutoring, which kind of blows my mind. Because I can remember being a little itty bitty tiny weeny tutor starting out online tutoring, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I didn't know how to use all this tech. I didn't know how to get students. I didn't know how to get parents to sign up for classes, for tutoring. I didn't know any of the marketing. I was a itty bitty baby in tutoring. And it's been 4 years, and now I am fully booked, but I still have a few slots left. If you're interested in tutoring, but I've come a long way in 4 years. So I thought, why not do an edition of Friday Question of the Week about myself? So this could be a really short one, you guys. I don't know. So let me just fill you in. I'm going to give you the quick little rundown here. And again, if you have any questions, post them over if you're live. Even if you're not live, you can post questions. I'll answer them later. About myself. So I was born in Portland, Oregon, where I live right now. Technically, I live in Beaverton, Oregon now, but I was born in Portland many moons ago. Many moons ago. And I love Portland. I loved growing up here. I love everything about this climate, and the scenery is gorgeous. If you've never been to Oregon, it's just breathtaking nature. And those of us that live here know that. And we are forever finding nature. That's our thing. We go to the nature. We go to the mountains. We have Mount Hood really close. We have all the Oregon beaches that are beautiful and pristine because we don't allow driving on the beaches. So, and it's not a very busy place anyway, so you can go and be really one with nature there. And then on the eastern side of Oregon, there's great desert type places and mountains over there too. So we've got some of everything. It's really wonderful. I love living in Portland. And I lived in Portland till I was 26. So in that time, I went to Sunset High School here in Beaverton. And then I went to Oregon State University. And my promo, my little ad I put on Instagram and on Facebook was, why was I wearing an Oregon State sweatshirt? Well, because I got my bachelor's degree there in mathematics. And so that's where I went. We also call it Moo U because there's lots of cows there. And if you hit the right time of day and the wind blowing in a certain direction, woo, it was powerful. But I also like going there. There's great people there. It's very friendly, and I learned a ton about math there. But let me fill you in on my experience at Oregon State. I was actually pre-med there for most of the time I was at Oregon State because I'm going all over the place here, but I'm going to fill you in quickly. I was born with hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain, and I had to have brain surgery when I was 4 months old. And I was always called the miracle child by my family because it was experimental surgery that they don't do now. And I was fine. And I've never had any problems with having hydrocephalus because of those doctors. And my family at the time didn't have very much money because they were just starting out a family. And all the doctors and the nurses and everybody did everything for free for the surgery. And if they hadn't done that surgery back when I was born, there was no such thing as a shunt. I would have died by the time I was 12. And I've had no repercussions from that hydrocephalus ever in my whole life. So that's why they called me the miracle child, which was a lot to live up to, but I understood why they called me that. So I always heard that story, and I thought, well, I always wanted to be a doctor because that was cool. And I still to this day love everything science related, anything medical, any science, of course, but I love all the medical stuff. So I went to Oregon State to be a doctor to get my pre-med part in. And then my junior year, people started tacking my labs that took like 3 to 5 weeks to do. They'd attack them like a week before they were due, so you couldn't reproduce them. And I kept getting B+ in my science classes, which I loved because of that. And I thought, if it's that cutthroat here, what's medical school going to be like? And I was young and foolish at the time, and I switched over to education the very end of my junior year, and then got an education degree too. And so that's how I became a teacher. I went out into the world around Oregon, and I taught high school there for 2 years in Little Podunk, Oregon, which wasn't very good for a brand new teacher, and ended up not enjoying it very much because I was inexperienced. So I went back to school, and I almost got my computer science degree, which I probably should have gotten. I was just 6 hours away from getting it at Portland State University. And then my brother Rick, hey Rick, if you ever see this, he'll never see it, don't worry. He was in Germany at the time doing his Army duty after his scholarships he got at Oregon State. And he said, why don't you join DODS, because where you teach overseas in Europe on the military bases there, because teachers get treated really well. I thought, well, okay, I don't really want to teach anymore, I didn't think, but I was 26. And I thought I'd love to travel. I would love to travel. And so I went and I traveled Europe, and I was in Italy. I was at Como, Sicily. It's like kind of east part of Sicily, not by Palermo. I taught there for a couple years. Then I got moved over to Zaragoza, Spain, which is like northern Spain. And I taught there for 3 years. And in the meantime, these bases were closing. You'd think, well, it's because of Terry. Did Terry close these bases? Was she so horrible that they had to close the military bases? No, that's not what happened. Nice try, people, but no. It was the time of Reagan, and he was showing power to Russia at the time to get them to do what he wanted them to do. So they closed the bases. And after Saragossa, Spain, I went over to Livorno, Italy, which is right by Pisa, kind of, well, it's definitely north of Roma, but in the heart of Tuscany, which was gorgeous. And I taught there for 3 years, and I taught math, and I taught chemistry and biology, physiology, anatomy, and of course I taught computer science that whole time. Because when you're in Dodge, you teach everything. But nowadays, I just teach math. And while I was over there, though, what was really great is they taught me how to be a teacher. And I loved that. And I loved, I took every opportunity, all the workshops they'd ever train, which I needed the training and I wanted to learn. But I lived in Europe, people. So where were these workshops? One was in Istanbul, Turkey. Loved traveling there. One was in London. And then a bunch of them were around Italy, all over Italy, I think. And one was in Germany, right on the Danube in wine country. It was gorgeous. All of them, like 26-year-old Terry was like, "Whoo, this is so much fun." And in the meantime, I became a really good teacher. And so, because they trained me. And I loved my whole experience with all the kids and the schools in Dodge. I just loved it. If you ever have the opportunity and you're a teacher, you should take it because they do teach, they treat teachers really great there. So I came back to Oregon after that, after 7 years of doing that, because I missed Oregon. It's beautiful here. And I taught around Oregon for a while, ended up teaching at LaSalle High School in Milwaukee, Oregon. That was another really great school to teach at. One of my favorite schools I ever taught at. Great kids, great teachers. It was awesome. And then I went to community college to teach there. I taught at Portland Community College. I also taught at Pacific University, which was just a regular university. And that was fun. I taught at PCC for 10 more years. And then after that, I changed over to tutoring. And that's what I've been doing the last 4 years. So altogether, I've been teaching / tutoring for over 35 years now. So I have a lot of experience teaching. I'm going to look to see. That was a lot of gabbing. Let's see if there's any comments here. Oh, Robert said over there in Maine, it's going to snow and rain tomorrow, but it'll be 50. That's awesome. Okay, so if you're just watching in right now, jump in and say who you are. I'd love to say howdy to you. If you're a tutor, I'll give you a shout out. So the cool thing about this tutoring business is that I had to create it myself. And I knew when I started, I wanted to do only online tutoring. Only because it was really easier to not be traveling around. You could see more students if you didn't travel around. So from the very get-go, 4 years ago, I knew I was going to be a tutor. And I learned a bunch. I got in this really great Facebook group called Ultimate Support for online tutors, which it's still there and it's still awesome. And it's run by Joanne Kaminsky, and she's awesome. And she taught me so much. Vivek's here from India. Let's put Vivek up here. Check out Vivek. He tutors elementary and middle school math. Write this name down. Hey, Vivek. He was in my Jumpstart program that I was group coaching just recently. I'm in this program where I was tutoring for the last 1.5 years. I was coaching, I should say, to help people get their tutoring business up. So if you need math, especially elementary and middle school, I don't do either of those. I dipped my toe in middle school and decided I didn't like the temperature. And so look up Vivek, and he would love to tutor you online. Even though he's from India, who cares? It's even greater because you get some extra culture in there, and I'm not going to be able to give you. So look him up. Give him a shout out, and he would love to help you. I know that because I know Vivek. Okay, so let's go back. Where am I? We'll just show the Friday question link. So where am I? So I started tutoring, and I learned all how to run my own business, which I didn't think that was ever going to happen because I was a teacher for over 30 years. You were just an employee, and you did what they say, and you got what you got paid, and all that good stuff. And here I was starting out brand new, and I had no idea if it would work, if I could replace my teacher salary or not by tutoring, or if I could do it online. And yes, I have been able to replace my teacher's salary and get fully booked and tutor all these great kids with stories that I just love sharing. I love nothing more. This is why I tutor. This is why I teach. I love nothing more than watching my kids succeed in math, because I know math is a really tough subject for a lot of people. And so I love helping them see how to do just a couple of things, and then they catch on to the math, and then building up their confidence. I love when their confidence in math builds, and then seeing that translate into higher grades for them, and then them realizing that it was possible to succeed in something they struggled in, overcome it and conquer it. And that's just a life lesson. That's not even a math lesson, right? And I just love it. It's so rewarding. And every single day that I've taught or I've tutored, I have learned something from my kids, because they have different ways of learning about things. They have different ways of perceiving the world. They're all different. I never met the same kind of student twice. It's been awesome. And I tutor kids right now, I tutor everybody across the country. I'm all the way to the East Coast in Virginia and Florida and New Jersey. I go through Tennessee. I do Texas. I do Wisconsin and Michigan, and over in California, and up here in Oregon and Washington. So anywhere across the country, I am tutoring. And if you're in a foreign country, I would love to help you too. I have helped Canada people, better known as Canadians. Yeah, brother, that was bad. But yeah, I tutor wherever people would like to get tutored. So if you're interested in tutoring, please, oh please, get hold of me. And like I said, I do high school and I do college algebra. So anything in high school, anything except in high school. I don't do statistics or calculus. I'm not tutoring those. That's for Robert. And then I also do college algebra or pre-calculus in college. So if you need any of those, hit me up. So Robert, you're very nice. He said he wanted to thank me for coaching me to build my tutoring business. I would have been lost without your guidance and support. Thank you, Robert. I had fun. It was fun coaching you guys. And then Vivek, you're a terrific coach, Terry. I really appreciate that. So in the meantime, a lot of people don't know this, but I've left that coaching duty of working with Joanne's program, Jumpstart. I liked it. I had a lot of fun. And over there too, I loved watching people succeed. But in the process of this, what do I love better, coaching or tutoring math? I just love those little high school little souls. They're so sweet. And I don't care what their covering is, whether they're being defensive or hormonal, or they're goth, or they're not goth, or whatever they are. I don't care, because when I start working with a kid, all I see is their soul, their sweet little souls. And I know, this is the other thing I want to get across today. I have never met a student that couldn't learn math. Not one. And I have worked with the full spectrum of how much do they understand math, from really understanding and being so smart it was just fun to watch them go, to being, oh my God, I don't even know what arithmetic word looks like and how that operates. But everybody can learn math. Like that, I'm just really on this kick right now. I mean, I hear so often in my life when I tell people what I do, that I'm a math teacher, I'm like, I hate math. I'm horrible at math. And, you know, saying that to yourself is just not doing yourself any service, because everybody can do math. Maybe you don't. Maybe that's not your love to do math, but you are capable of doing math. And what I tell my kids, because they have to take math to get through high school, right? Or if they're in college, they have to take it to get their degree. Like, build confidence in yourself as you're working on math. When you get things right, you should be cheering for yourself. Like the other day, I'm not kidding, somebody was multiplying 216 by 64, and I did it in my head. Oh yeah, people, right in this noggin. And when they of course did it on the calculator, and when I said the answer before they got it, they're like, "How did you do that?" And I was busy going, "Oh yeah, she got it right. I got it right. Shoot, she scores." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, you are such a dork." Yeah, and your point is. But I still cheer for myself every time I get something right in math. And that's why I love math so much, because I do that. So any problem I see is like a challenge for me. like I'm like challenge accepted. And any of you that are watching that were my past students, I had a few of you that would come in and lay out a problem for me that they knew I couldn't do right away, but they also knew I would never let it rest till I figured it out. And you do that just to be mean to me because you knew I would work all night long until I got that stupid problem figured out, because I knew I could solve any math problem if I just worked on it long enough. That's just a difference of what is your brain telling you about math? Are you good at it? Or do you think you're bad at it? And you want to lay down those positive thoughts about math so that as you come across more problems, you're not like taking in air every time you see a new math problem. You're like, okay, I think I can do this. Or when it's time for a test, you look at the problem, you go, your brain goes, oh, we've done this before correctly. Remember when you cheered for yourself? And all that does is reduce your math anxiety by doing that, and your test anxiety, and you're more likely to do better on the test because your brain thinks you can do it. And so you go and you show them exactly what you can do. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of videos about this, so stay tuned because I'm just so passionate about it. Vivek says, what is something that keeps you going? What keeps me going? I'm assuming you mean tutoring. And like I've just said, I just love it so much. It's so weird when I go to a tutoring session, and I don't care what the kid's acting like, I'm just like into that kid, and time leaves me. Like an hour will go by and I'm like, oh, it's an hour already. How did that happen? And I just love learning from them every day. And I love getting, another thing I really love is figuring out how they learn math or how they learn in general. Are they auditory or visual or kinetic? What are they? And I love learning about that, because then when I go to help them, I teach to that way of learning. And then what that does is it speeds up the level of understanding the math. And so what seemed like insurmountable odds, we can condense that in a really short period of time to them understanding it. I just had a student that just started with me 2 weeks ago, and I posted this on my Facebook page. And he had an F in the class, and he was really sad about math. He was in Algebra 2, and he had told his parents that he was going to hurt himself, that he wanted to commit suicide because he couldn't figure out the math. Can you imagine that alone? Just stop for a second. And how sad that makes me, that anybody, let alone a kid, feeling that way about math or any subject. Like, I just want to hug him and say, it's going to be all right. Math is just not that important. Yes, I said that. I'm a math tutor, but kids are so much more important, and they're so fragile right now because of COVID, where they've been cooped up on these online classes. Still in Oregon, we're just barely starting. I'm not sure anybody's really started hybrid learning yet, let alone going back in the classroom. They're just, that's just horrible for kids. They need to be around people. And anyway, so he started a week and a half ago, and he was failing, and he didn't understand anything about logarithms or exponential functions. And he said, I just don't understand a single thing. And because I helped him start laying down the groundwork as he was doing little problems that he'd get right, or even parts of little problems, I said to him, do you ever cheer for yourself about the math? He said, no. I said, well, that's got to change, because that's not going to fly. And I told him my whole theory, and then he started doing it. I, of course, cheered for him, and in turn, he started cheering for himself. And in a matter of a week and a half, he went from an F. He went to take his log test on yesterday, and he was ready. I knew by Sunday, we met every day, but I knew by Sunday he was ready and that he would get an A on the test. I'm not sure he was as convinced. He was convinced by Wednesday, though. And he went and took the test, and he got an A on the test from failing in this math class. Like, that just proves the power of having somebody help you and getting the help you need, like not even just in math, but in life, right? Like, we struggle through so many things, but if we just took our pride out of the situation and asked for the help we need, things could get so much easier for us. And I'm so glad his parents reached out to me. And, sometimes I think, like, certain situations, I think people are put in our path because we have something that they really need. And we may not realize what it is they need, but whatever I do when I tutor, however I help a kid, that's exactly what he needed right at this time. And I was so proud of him. When his mom told me that, I just started crying happy tears. Like, yes, this kid is coming back. He's not feeling all upset about math. And I even talked to him. I had the nerve to talk to him on Sunday about it. This last Sunday, I said, your mom told me, that you were considering hurting yourself about math. And I told him, there is nothing about math that's more important than you. Nothing. And I just looked him right in the eyes and I said, I know this is embarrassing to hear, but you are so much more important than any math you'll ever learn. And I just took a few seconds and let that sink in. And I said, look what you've done just in a matter of a few days. Now you understand the math, don't you? It's like, yeah, I really do understand the math. I said, so learn this lesson that if you're struggling in life, go get the help you need, because it doesn't have to be a struggle if you get the help. And he's like, yeah, I can really see that now. And I really appreciate what you've done. So yeah, that's what I do. That's what keeps me going in tutoring. I've had so many times in my teaching career where that has happened. And I just love, I have never once felt burnout from teaching in 35 plus years now. Like usually teachers, when they're in the classroom, they get really burnt out by about, they start getting burnt out really by about year 15 if they're really into the classroom teaching. And by year 20, they're just like goners. Like there's a few that have really stick by it, but I flew past 20, I flew past 30. I loved every single second of teaching. So if you're one of my past students that are watching this, I love you. It was fun teaching you. It was fun getting to experience you and how you learn and how you interact in the world. That's what keeps me going. And if you've been one of my students that I've tutored, wow, it's been so much fun to go one-on-one with tutoring, because that's the part of teaching that I always really loved, is when I got to work with them after class one-on-one, and that's what I'm doing now. So yes, I could keep going forever and ever and ever. I could tell you about my dog Oliver, but really you could look at my Facebook line and you'll see a picture of him all over. He's a little black Cocker Spaniel, and he's the cutest, sweetest, silliest little dog ever, and I love him, and there's lots of other stuff I love. But honestly, if I'm being really honest, teaching has never been a job. Teaching and tutoring has never been a job for me. It's always been my passion, and I've always loved it. And every time I get paid, I'm like, wow, I get paid for doing what I love so much. Isn't life awesome? And I know that sounds cheesy, but I knew really at about age 28 how much I loved teaching, because I started getting good at it. I'm like, wow, this is all I ever want to do. I got really lucky. I found my passion in my life way early, and I've just like been riding the wave of happiness doing it ever since. So I think I'll leave on that note on a positive. Again, if you're looking for any tutoring for Algebra 1, Algebra 2, AGS 1, AGS 2, AGS 3, if you're in the Beaverton area, you know what I'm talking about. If you're in the Beaverton, Oregon area. And then I also do geometry. I love tutoring geometry because I get it. And I had a hard time in high school getting it, and now I really understand it and I know how to teach it. So hook me up if you need a geometry tutor. Pre-calculus, which usually involves trigonometry, could be a separate course in trigonometry. And then I also tutor college algebra, because that's what I taught when I was at the university teaching. So it's been so much fun talking about myself. It's kind of like crazy, but I figured I'd do one edition like this. Don't worry. We're going straight back to math next week, people. And normally I'll pick a problem that my students are having during the week. And that's what I try to teach on these Friday editions. So if you stuck with me this long, you are a trooper. You two people that are watching, score. You're awesome. And I will let you go. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you right back here next Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, on my Facebook page at Tag Tutoring Algebra and Geometry, or in my YouTube channel under Terry Grigsby. And let me put that banner up one last time here so we can all see it. I'm trying to find out where I put it. Here we go. There it is, at Tag Tutoring Algebra and Geometry. But I'm assuming if you're seeing this, that you found this page anyway, or under my name, Terry Grigsby. And again, look me up if you want some tutoring. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys. I'll talk to you next Friday. Bye.